So you want to start it off with first writing it down. That's the first step to your goals or your commitments, because your goals should be commitments and your commitments should be goals. So the first step you want to do is write them down, because what happens when you write stuff down, you'll be amazed. Like if you wrote something in January and you go back and read it in June, and you say, wow, I was in that frame of mind. You'd be amazed. But what happens when we write it down is that it connects with the eyes. And the eyes are the windows to the soul, which everybody knows or have been told. So when you write it down, that's the first step of kind of like documenting it to the universe. This is what I want to accomplish. This is my commitment. Most people don't do that. Just like right now, I only see 2 pens out. You remember almost 90% of everything you hear by writing it down. But that's why you want to write it down. You want to write it down for the purpose of it brings it into the universe. It gives you some clarity. Because if you don't write it down, I guarantee you, I can give you 3 or 4 days later and something bad happens in your life or something tragic experience or whatever. And what happens? You forgot everything you said on Monday. Because now what's in your focus? You got to solve this experience. All right? So that's why you want to write everything down when it comes to your goals. You want to be able to go back over, and then you want to be able to modify them. You know, because if you wrote down, I need to do 20 things, and then by the end of that, you realize you didn't really need to do the 20, you only really needed 15, you can modify that on a daily basis. So that's the key right there. It must be written down. And if you ask most people who have accomplished anything in their life, they'll tell you they've written it. They wrote it down. No matter how they wrote it, but it embeds in you. I don't know. It's so big. It's that consciousness is so much greater than us. But I know it's possible because that used to be experience of mine, of not writing stuff down. The next thing I know, I got 20 or 30 other things I need to add on to it, and I never accomplished the first one. Simply because I didn't know where I started. You start trying to remember, blah, 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 and you forget it. So long as you remember everything you want to accomplish, write it down. In fact, you should always walk with a little pad somewhere in your bag or whatever, in your daily stuff. Simply because when you write down little ideas that may not mean nothing to you right then, you may come back a week later or 2 weeks later and realize that it meant something. You ever read a book and didn't get it? And then go back like several months later and everything bounces? Because your consciousness wasn't at the right level yet. So it was able to take you to the next level. So that's the key right there. Writing it down.